but it's also on the very best of Adrian LEGG of a French label, Varese.
I think
How do you
it
say
sounds
it?
Italian, Varese. I don't know, I've not met them. They just wanted to do it, so I said, oh, okay. If you're brave enough to put a CD out now, go ahead.
But I was going to say, you started off, well, as you said, playing guitar, and then pretty soon you got into the technical side as well.
Yeah. That was kind of a retreat, really, from the collision between acoustic and electric. I was playing electric in bands, and I was playing acoustic for the BBC, doing all kinds of, music through the night and stuff like that. So there was a collision between the two, and I got fed up with the whole thing, and went into the instrument industry as a tech.
Did you stop performing then for a while?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yes.
But you really worked on your craft, I guess.
Oh,
Technical.
no,
I mean, you're technical now.
I worked on people's guitars. There was a point in the industry where I did. That's really where I found the possibility of bringing together aspects of electric and acoustic, which is what I wanted to do, and which is what you hear now. Is a kind of technical blend. I wanted some of the harmonic content of an acoustic guitar, but I wanted the flexibility of the electric.
Did that require you inventing your own guitar or designing your own guitar?
Kind of, yeah. There was an awful lot of sawing up and throwing away beforehand. There was much stuff going in the bin that didn't work. But I had a warehouse full of guitars to play with, and nobody really understood what I was doing there. My employers didn't know what I did, so I did what I liked.
But at the time you thought of it as a retreat from performing.
Yes.
It actually set the groundwork for what you've been doing since.
Absolutely, yeah. So that there has to be some kind of technical base for an instrument for you to progress, and that's how it worked for me. From that point, everything started coming together.
Listen, my co-host Beryl was asking earlier, what does acoustic electric mean? Because that's on your website and in your biographies, and so this is the time to ask you.
It's an oxymoron.
What does it mean to you?
Well, by definition, acoustic means without electronic enhancement or support, and that's in your dictionary and our dictionary. It's the same thing. So it's a kind of bodge word. Electric is when you plug a thing in and you use an electrical system to get the sound to the audience, to excite the air and get it to their ears. So it's a kind of contradiction in terms, and until we agree a new definition about acoustic and plugging it in, then we're kind of stuck with the one we've got. And so until we can agree something that makes sense, and electroacoustic or acoustic electric is kind of getting around there a little. We're getting close to something. But I think it's actually much simpler than that. From my point of view, I think of it purely in terms of American guitar. That works for me.
You keep saying that. Yes, yes. Who are some of your, you mentioned a couple names already, who's one of your greatest American guitar heroes?
I don't know if I have too many. I've worked with quite a lot and thoroughly enjoyed it. I really like Sonny Landreth. I just love his touch. I loved Eric and his tone, Eric Johnson. I loved working with him. It was great fun.
Yes.
I loved working with Joe Satriani. The catering was terrific.
The catering.
By the way, the catering was fantastic.
Well, that's right. You were on the G3 tour.
Yes, and before that I did the Extremist tour with Joe around Europe.
And Steve Vai, you were on Steve Vai's label for a long time as well.
Yes.
And so you're buddies with all those fellow guitar gods.
Fellow guitar gods. Well, they're the guitar gods. I'm the skivvy they put on first so we can get their sights in,
Well, listen, it's 12, almost 12 noon. Would you mind reading a legal station ID for everybody?
Okay. This is legal, is it?
I think so. We'll see.
Right. Okay.
I'll let you know.
There we go. Hi, this is Adrian LEGG, and you're listening to KPF. Is that a T?
Yes.
KPFT, Community Supported Radio. Support it, community. Was that legal?
It's community supported.
KPFT Houston.
Okay, shall I do it again?
I'll talk to the scriptwriter later.
I have to do it again. Right. Hi, this is Adrian LEGG, and you're listening to KPFT, Community Supported Radio in Houston.
All right, thank you.
How legal was
that?
KPFT
Houston is all that you need to do to make it legal, and we are. We're good.
But
we're good.
She didn't write Houston. She just wrote this asterisk after the F.
I know. It's okay. It's all right. It's community radio. We got it covered. Now, when it comes to performing and playing guitar, you've never had to have a redo, Have you?
Hardly
ever?
I mess up. Yeah.
You make it up and keep going?
Sometimes, if I'm lucky. Improvisation is when you go wrong and try to figure out where you were. Sometimes it just goes wrong. The biggest problem is an old piece will fall apart for no accountable reason, and quite often it's because like half a bar has the same kind of right-hand fingering as something else, and they cross over. The threads cross over at that point. When you write or learn a thing, you work in a kind of declarative memory where you can express every aspect of the thing you're doing in bits. And what you do with practice is program it into a kind of procedural memory, which is the memory you just roll. It's like a code. And sometimes the code gets messed up, just like on a computer, and you have to go back to declarative, take it apart and find out what it was. I try not to do that too often in front of an audience, but it has happened.
And I bet most of the time people don't even know you've noticed you've made a mistake. Only Adrian knows.
There's a Yasha Heifetz quote. He says, if I don't practice for 1 day, I know. If I don't practice for 2 days, the critics know. If I don't practice for 3, everybody knows. If I don't practice for a day, everybody knows. It's pretty obvious.
I bet that's a bit exaggerated, but we'll come out tonight and find out.
Yeah,
right?
spot it. Come spotting.
Put him to the test.
Come clam spotting.
Well, back to the guitar for a second. Do you play just one guitar?
Yes.
And that's it. So
Yes.
that's pretty precious. You said that's another reason you don't fly, among other reasons. You don't trust an airline to... I wouldn't.
No.
If I had a
Well, I mean,
guitar I cared about and needed.
Yeah, if it gets checked, that could be the end of it, and it could be off the road for 6 months getting rebuilt.
So when you do fly, and of course you fly to the... You're based in London still.
Yes.
And you have to fly sometimes.
It's been
you carry it with
okay.
you?
Yes.
Do you book a seat for it?
No, I have done.
Yeah.
Well, I insisted a promoter did going into Canada because I had some terrible troubles in Canada. But by and large, I have no issues because it's actually very small. And that was part of the design consideration. One major one was posture for dealing with injuries, guitar playing injuries. But another part of it was the Boeing 777. And when that first came into service, they wouldn't tell us how big the overhead was. So the first one I got on, they took my then big guitar and were very nice to everybody, and they put it in the business class closet. And the reason they were being very nice was because they didn't want us to look out of the windows and count the engines, because there were only 2. And that was the first time that it happened transatlantic. The 777 was the first licensed transatlantic twin. So they were being terribly nice to us in case we got scared when we looked out our side of the window and only saw 1 engine.
Okay.
You know. But I knew that wouldn't last. And I took a tape measure with me and I measured the overhead, and it was 37.5 inches long.
So it's time for a new guitar.
My guitar is 36.5 inches long.
I see.
First rule of air travel, thou shalt not annoy Miss. And if Miss sees you struggling to get your guitar in the overhead, it's very likely she'll come steaming up and check it.
An experienced traveler for sure.
Right, so.
Yeah. Well, who makes it? This is a custom guitar, someone in England?
Bill Puplett.
Bill Puplett.
Who's an old friend, back to my tech days, when there were lots of us used to phone each other up with the latest problem with undersaddle pickups, which are notorious for string balance problems and so on. I can get very geeky here, so I'll skip lightly over this part. I've known him a long time, and I wanted him to make something. We needed to work on my posture. I had injuries that virtually stopped me playing, so I needed to straighten my back. In order to sort out my arms, I needed to straighten my back. So we made a guitar that would do that.
Well, it's handy knowing how to design and have a friend make your own guitar then.
Well, I started repairing guitars because I had some work done that was so bad I knew I could do better. And gradually I got to meet people whose work was so good I knew I'd never ever get that good because it was a lifetime's work. So I go to Bill now.
How many guitars have you gone through? You just one at a time, you say.
Well, this one, it's more a case of how many bits have been sawed off, I suppose. It's been modified. We're now at the point where the next cut could be fatal, so everything is done very, very cautiously. It's been evolving over 15 years now, maybe slightly more. 95 it was made.
Where's the original wood from?
The swamp ash was probably from here, I don't know. The black walnut almost certainly is from here, because that's your Juglans niger, your native tree.
I see. Well, again, tonight, this is Adrian Legg that we're talking to here in the studios at KPFT. This is Wide Open Spaces. I'm Phil, sitting in here for Rourke, and we're talking with Mr. Adrian Legg, who has come all the way from Santa Fe, New Mexico, not
Yes.
Santa Fe, Texas.
No, Santa Fe.
The far drive
Yes.
from here just to play tonight at Anderson Fair.
My
Well,
pilgrimage.
and enjoy the Tex-Mex. What else do you do while you're here? What's your
I
cultural?
Sleep, actually.
Yes.
This time sleep and then get out. It's my pilgrimage to Anderson Fair.
So come out and see him. Pay him that honor, and you won't regret it. I promise.
Yeah,
I
don't
promise
leave
you.
it till next time. I'm getting to that age, where you don't leave it till the next time.
Well, don't leave it till next time just because
I might
he's
drop
here.
dead.
Well, I know you do comments for NPR from time to time, or you have, about your travels
a while
and
ago, yes.
experience with American. If you were to comment on this trip to Houston, do you have anything that has, well, your HOV lane experience, I guess,
yeah, that's
and
pretty
your
bad.
the
Yeah.
direction you're being.
I'm going to really get hit for that by the time it gets back to the rental company and they stick a bit on. It's going to cost me a bit. I need somebody in the Justice Department to talk to explain my case, but you don't get that, do you? You just get an automated money collection system.
Oh no, you can call someone. I've had an experience with tollways. I think this is the same authority, and you just talk. There's a voice on the phone, and you just tell them, "I was at KPFT."
Okay.
or say something nice. You'll talk them out of it.
Yeah.
They'll whatever the basic fine is. That's what they'll. If you call them first before they try to track you down,
Yeah.
it's minimal.
Right. That's what I need to do. Yeah, so that's the next plan.
Or have your people do it.
My people, Brad, now he doesn't know what to do, and his mum's ill, so he's not in a very good state.
Well, so you're going to be there tonight. You're going to be playing. You are opening for yourself,
I'm opening for myself, indeed.
and you're playing the main set as well.
Yeah,
You're going to be there
main
for
set.
quite a while.
I'm going to be pretty busy, yeah.
You do 2 sets with a break or something, and
Yeah,
music
it's not
starts around
Mahler.
9.
It's not Mahler. You know the Resurrection, Mahler 2? The first movement is an hour long. Mahler is the bladder god,
Oh, Gustav. Yes,
Gustav
I know.
Mahler, sorry,
you mean.
yeah.
I know. I would. Yeah, I get it. Well,
It's not Bob Mahler, it's Gustav Mahler.
he was afraid he could only write 9 symphonies because that's how many Beethoven wrote, and he was
Everybody
right.
dropped dead at the ninth. Everybody, the Curse of the Ninth, it was called. Wasn't
He didn't
it?
want to
Yeah.
finish the 9th, but he did, and then it was goodbye.
Yeah.
Well, so you know classical music. Your music has been described as as well as a combination of acoustic and electric, American influenced
It's informal.
cultural music with you have a background in classical guitar as well.
No background in classical guitar whatsoever. The background is in. I got Mendelssohn with my mother's milk, literally, so I heard it all through my childhood, and the core German repertoire really, and it became naturally a part of my thinking.
So when you were an oboist, it was the Mendelssohn influenced oboe playing.
Whatever showed up. I still remember Scipio with some distaste. We used to blast through that in the school orchestra. That was fairly awful. Very third world. I thought school orchestra is the third world. You can tell the state of a third world economy by the in or out of tuneness of its bands. So it's a kind of measure of the third world is how good the band is. And it was very much the same with school orchestras. It's another emerging nation, in fact. The school orchestra is representative of it.
Well, fascinating. I will venture to say, correct me if I'm wrong, all the anecdotes, everything you said today on the air, you will not be repeated tonight. You're known for your wit and charm between songs in reduction. You'll have a whole new line for this evening, correct?
Just like today, I will make it all up as I go along.
There you go. And so it will be different. So you really owe it to yourselves to come out tonight and see Adrian Legg at Anderson Fair, 2007 Grant Street.
Yes.
1 block off of Montrose, the corner of Welch and Grant.
Yes.
And everyone just says, well, it's right behind Texas Art Supply.
Absolutely.
Everybody knows where that
That's
is
it, yeah.
on Montrose, don't you? And go online first so that you won't get turned away if it gets sold out. And enjoy a phenomenal evening of music and talk
Food.
from Adrian Legg.
Do
And
some nice
food.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that you're not going to be responsible for. But the
food?
talk and the guitar playing.
The food's above my pay grade, way above.
I read that you sang once on the G3 tour. You were in the chorus of Red House, according to something or other I read somewhere. Normally, though, It's
I did
Adrian
sing.
is
There's one, on one of the albums.
instrumental.
No, there's one of the albums. It might be Kiss Curl. Bobby and I did the Chick Singers, oohing and ahhing in the background, and then we had to swap round because we were both equally awful but in slightly different ways. So then we swapped lines and did it again, and it kind of balanced out.
Was this on Red House?
That went out in.
Or,
I think that might have been with Relativity, Kiss Curl.
Oh,
They did a
okay.
video. Red House never had a budget for a video.
Okay.
There's a video on YouTube for Kiss Curl. It's really nice.
Kiss Co. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we should look for that.
Yeah, I really like that one. Everybody was so kind and had such fun doing it. It was a really nice experience.
Well, I was going to go out with Kiss Curl.
Okay, good.
But not the video. People have to.
Look at it online.
Do you ever play that anymore? It's described as your tribute to 50s era surf music instrumentals or something.
Look, when I was listening illicitly, excuse me, I haven't put my teeth back, illicitly to Radio Luxembourg, listening out for guitar things, most of what was going on was the 50s chord sequence, the 1-6-4-5 C A minor F G chord sequence in which teenage angst lived. And so I soaked it up, so I had to do it.
Is Kiss Curl part of your repertoire now? Do you ever
No,
play it?
it was another part of learning to deal with studios, because I hated the studios because there's nobody there to play to.
Right.
And people said to me, well, try and treat it as a different kind of form.
Okay.
And so overdubbing and building a track yourself is one way of enjoying a studio and having a little fun and treating it as a different form. So no, I can't play all those instruments at once. Neither can I do Bobby's side of the Chick Singers while I'm doing it.
So I'm about to play Kiss Curl after we say goodbye.
Yeah.
That'll be your send off here. You won't hear it tonight.
No, it's a one-off. It was done for fun.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
So I was wondering who the chicks are on there, and one of them is Adrian Legg.
Me and
Listen
Bobby.
carefully.
Yeah,
Bobby.
two slightly overweight gentlemen oohing and eyeing.
Doesn't well, the video is it doesn't have the two of you in it. It's all
No.
these
No, they've got a real
scenes
woman
of
in there.
beaches and American.
No,
stuff.
the plot of the video was the waitress got fired out of a restaurant I was playing in, and I then went and rescued her. I pointed out that was completely incorrect, because for a musician it's always the woman that rescues the musician. So we changed the story in the video so that she rescued me. She appeared in a tow truck covered in oil, and everybody was happy.
Well, we're talking about Kiss Curl. You can see it online. Well, on YouTube.
Yes.
Just Google Adrian Legg.
Kiss Curl.
Adrian, ADRIAN, and Legg.
No E on the end.
No,
Remember,
just
legitimate.
LEGG.
Yes.
This man is legitimate. I'll tell you that. Well, Adrian, thank you very much for coming by
Thank you,
KPFT.
Phil. It's a
I
pleasure.
really look forward to seeing you tonight at Anderson Fair.
Likewise.
And once again, so here's Kiss Curl on Wide Open Spaces, KPFT Houston.